first like classical pieces, particularly that chorale that you know was the original inspiration. And I remember just like that was this original, like you sit in a room with your friends blasting classical music, and these are like not even classical musicians. And like I just remember sitting in a room in undergrad, and you know smoked a little bit, and I just letting that chorale wash over me. And I remember even telling a buddy of mine, I was like, man, why is that so good? I mean, I just love how it's like 2.5, 3 times, whatever he does it like the perfect amount of times.
Right, yeah, 2.5.
It's 2 and it's perfect. And then I'm like, what's going on? Are there like just some like just mad inversions going on that is just really just like keeping this harmonic and maybe even rhythmic? And so it was the first time I like listened to music and I'm like, no, I don't even say I wasn't even analyzing. It was just like so great, loved it so much. I was so inside of it. It wasn't even like I had to think about it. I'm like, oh, that's just what's going on. I'm just loving this for this, this, and this. And I mean, the fact that, again, talking about things kind of culminating, I finish formal music education, and, I got you, the guy I got really close with up in New York. I mean, that was a good thing. You were a good thing to have up here. And then you're like, yo, you want to play Jupiter? I'm like,
you, man.
Oh, man. And it kind of came together really
great.
Perfectly.
I'll fill in some backstory then for the listeners, which is that we both lived in Astoria, which is about an hour away from Flushing, which is where Queens is. And so naturally, we commuted a few times. Yeah, right. Yeah.
That helps.
And then, but especially like when I started, I really tried to be as serious as I could about at least like learning what the routine was for brass players, right? Because there's the whole like, let me be able to blow through this tube, and let me be able to like express myself and play vocabulary, right? And so it was great to be able to like get up with you and learn, so much of just like what it's like to be a brass player. That was just that stuff that I still do every day now, man. Now that I've been able to play again, I've been, I guess, playing for like 2 weeks now since I had my surgery. And but that what is it? The Clark with the chromatic, the Clark chromatic. All this stuff. I just feel like because of people like you, getting up with you in Astoria, and like John, obviously, and Frank, who you introduced me to.
He's just that as a trumpet guy, trumpet player. My goodness.
And Elad too. Elad and I practiced a lot when we lived together.
Awesome.
Yeah, man, just like learning, like especially with so many different brass players, but really trying to just get a good feel for like what is the approach, to become one with this tube.
One with the tube, and there's like, I think we were talking like kind of. There's almost like an aptitude, like a physical aptitude, people have for a brass instrument specifically. But I think even if you're like really just almost seemingly made to play a brass instrument, like playing, practicing or just playing is like it's a lot of exercises. There's a lot of like almost seemingly not musical things. Like I was telling you, at the school I teach at, I got this great French horn student. I remember we had a lesson, and I'm having him do Clark studies. We're doing a lot of lip slurs. We're doing a lot of physical things. And I remember like we're halfway through a lesson and we're just doing this stuff. I'm just drilling him, and I don't feel guilty because he's getting it and he seems to like it. And I'm like, all right, let's play some music. And he had the best response. He was like, oh, but we are playing music. And I'm like, oh, he gets it. Like I didn't get that, but it's just like, he gets like he likes the French horn so much, and he's just like, whether it's from me giving him things to do or he just realizes it on his own, it's like, oh, playing the French horn, playing a brass instrument means, oh, I'm gonna be mostly doing these exercises. Like 80% of the playing I'm gonna do.
Right.
Because after that, the music's just gonna be second nature.
Have you heard about Pine Tree in the Lake? That John sang, this Pine Tree in the Lake. We're gonna have to talk about it off the air if you haven't. That's not for the listeners. That's not for them. But yeah, man, just like, again, it's like brass concepts. Like if that's the case, then how can we make this synergistic approach of working on, what we're talking about, like brass proficiency with vocabulary, and harmony and melody and stuff. But it's cool. But that's not for here and now. The listeners aren't ready for the Pine Tree and Lake. Isn't that so John Durth though?
Is that an analogy for playing brass?
Yes, it is.
You don't even need to tell me the analogy. I get it. You don't even tell me. I got it.
Right. Yeah, I'm sure you do. But anyways, so, this intro to Jupiter, man, I can't tell you. In fact, I think it was yesterday, someone said that just really knocked them out. That all of a sudden it's like, we do drifting and right and everything's kind of swinging. And then I guess there's an interlude. But then it's like, holy shit, am I in a concert hall right now?
Again, I can't thank you. I can't thank you enough for letting me do that. I mean, it was, I do a lot of arranging. That was some arranging, but I think inherently in arranging, or particularly good arranging, there's, you're not just doing a puzzle to get, the music into a certain instrumentation. You're also being creative about it. And sometimes when you're arranging, like the creativity, just like composing, it can be difficult to come by. You got to work at it. You kind of just got to sit down and just like almost let the muse like work until the muse comes to you. But then there's other times where the muse is just like, it's just not even hard. And particularly with that, that little introduction, some reharm, some things, I think, some of the things that I did, I think we talked about, I think I asked, hey, maybe I can try writing an intro, and you said yes, and then I just wrote it. Like, I'm just so excited about it. Again, maybe just a culmination of me just loving that piece, and I had to get it out. I had to get my,
right.
Here's what I would do if I could play 4 French horns at once, or I could sing really well. Here's how I would want to, play the melody of Jupiter.
Right. Well, one day, man, when we get the big gig, I'm going to be able to hit you up and say, hey, I need you to bring the people. I need you to bring the MTA, and we're going to do the intro, and you can blow. Like, that's the other thing that knocks me out, too, man. Like, when we start the time, for the tune, like, how regal it sounds as you improvise over that vamp. Like, I could have just listened to that all day. If not for the fact really that I knew that song was going to be, like, 8 minutes long, and I'm like, dang, this is already a long time for people. Like, if we were at a gig, I would have let that ride for a while. Great.
Me just playing with John Durth?
Yeah, you and JD just, like, vamping over that intro, man, and then, like, going into the melody. And then, contrast that with, this is the apple and the orange, man. Like, how beautiful it was to have you, play alongside John Durth, Elad, Marcus Tenney with that crazy octave stuff. But it was awesome to be able to have such a lush horn section, brass section. But then, again, as you pointed out, the ability for the French horn to blend nicely with the woodwinds, so the parts of the melody that you played that were with Antonio and Charles and stuff, the other things that you came up with as in terms of like counter lines and this and that. It was just really incredible, man. I mean, I couldn't have asked for a better turnout with that tune. Yeah, I mean, brass, man, brass all day. These people are like, does he play drums? He's a drummer, right?
Yeah, right. I mean, I think people love it. I think most people love, like, I mean, I guess we, sometimes I'll tell people I teach the clarinet and they just kind of have PTSD from, cliche squeaking of the clarinet, or just like, they don't really know what good clarinet playing sounds. Or then people think about that with brass. Like, they can only think about, like, maybe like, they only think of like loud, out of tune brass playing. But it's just like, if they hear like just kick-ass in-tune brass, they just love it. I think it's just,
sure.
I don't know. I think it's just because it's just, talking about an acoustic that needs no amplification, that just like takes up a room, just a bunch of brass instruments playing in tune together. It's just like, you can't miss it, or you can't, man, it's not loud at the same time. It's like amazing.
Yeah, no, I mean, you said, talking about No BS brass, I saw them at 930 Club not too long ago. I wouldn't say in December, and it was just like, it was a random night. I went by myself, and it was just like, because no one that I knew was gonna enjoy that as much as I was. I just wanted to go get blasted.
You enjoyed it.
4 trumpets, 4 trombones, and a sousaphone, and and if I had 4 French horns up there too, like, holy shit, that would have just taken it to that next level, man. But yeah, I mean, it's just such a beautiful instrument. Like, it's amazing.
Well, there is times where I think, like, it can't just be playing with everything. For many reasons, it's not really going to be heard. It's not really going to work. But I think it can just, those softer moments, those you know, those moments that it can really, that color can stand out. It totally changes an already special moment into like something else. It's kind of something I'm like really interested in finding, like particularly maybe with other groups in New York or just like other live music acts. It's like I almost feel like, hey, I think you need French horn in your band. Like, I just want to tell all these people, I think you just need some French horn. Not all the time. Like I want to preface that, but I just like, you know, let me like listen to your music. Let's like work stuff out. Like let's just find every place where French horn would just elevate the music. And I think it's just, I guess it's, you know, a thing I'm trying to do with the horn quartet and playing the French horn. One thing I'm not trying to do with the French horn is just play a bunch of orchestral excerpts and, you know, win a job with an orchestra. I mean, for a lot of reasons, but one of which is just.
Man, I wish you were closer. I would call you all the time. They need to get, you know, Elon Musk needs to get that like hyperloop or whatever happened between New York and DC, you know, so I can have better access to my homies. But yeah, I wish. I mean, just to share. I just feel like I just want to share it with my friends, you know, and I have all these friends and the, you know, musician friends, particularly classical musician friends who know what the horn's about, but I'm thinking about like my non-musician friends who like barely hear me play the French horn. If they hear me play French horn, it's like I invite them to, you know, a gig I'm playing with an orchestra, like a 60-piece orchestra, and I'm playing third horn, and they like don't really hear me. I want them to like hear it right away, just not to hear the horn, but also like, you know, hear me. Right. You know? No, I mean, you're an artist, bro.
Yeah,
you are.
I'm
looking forward to hearing these arrangements, man, these recordings from you. Seriously.
Yeah, man, I just get excited about that again, expressing yourself, and there's just, I think for everybody, but particularly for musicians, there's just like that people can get to know us, but they, you know, there's a certain side of us, or, you know, the complete version of us that they can only see, you know, through our music, or they can only hear through our music.
Right, sure. Yeah, man, totally. Well, man, I think I'm going to play for them. I sort of picked some excerpts from them. If you have a clip of MTA, you know, I would love to add this to the episode as well.
MHA, just to clarify.
MHA. Oh, I keep saying MTA. I'm used to thinking about. Yeah, that's a way shittier thing than MHA.
No, I mean that's the people that helps people remember. Oh, you like the Metropolitan Transit
Manhattan Horn Authority.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
But man, I think I'm going to play the intro for him. I'm going to play some of your blowing, you know, in that intro, and then I think I'm going to make them go and listen to the track to get the outro, and you know how beautiful and regal Peter sounded, playing his French horn alongside John Dirth and Marcus Tinney and Elad on front line on this tune. Peter, it's been such a pleasure to like have you, man, and talk, and again, and just like your contribution to this tune. I really hope y'all check this out, and I really hope that you will check out some more of Peter's work, because you've worked with Jack Ross. What are some of the other bands that you've worked with?
Well, it's not really a band, but you know, we got the Metropolitan Horn Authority. That's kind of a pun-filled name. I got another group I'm starting up. It's actually just a brass duo, and we're called the NYBD, you know, New York Brass Duo. And I'm playing with this really killing trombone player. We're kind of taking some classical music, taking some pop music, and putting it together in a challenging way. Just, you know, French horn and trombone. It's something I'm really excited about.
Right. Well, man, y'all got to go check out his music. Tell him where to find you, you know, on your medias, and if you have a website, and it'll obviously be included in the link, but you can tell people right now.
Yeah, I'm pretty much just at P DelGrosso Music. DelGrosso is DelGrosso. At P DelGrosso Music everywhere. You can look at Metropolitan Horn Authority on Facebook, on Instagram at MHA _ quartet. And yeah, I think I'm going to be trying to get some websites up pretty soon with similar names, and yeah, really trying to get it going.
Awesome. Yeah, it sounds great, man. And it's just been such a pleasure to talk to you again. And it's going to make me go back. You know, I haven't really listened to the record in a while, since I did a lot of listening to it. especially after